Hello, Mass Attacks here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a look at a battle from the Tier 9 French wheeled vehicle. It is the EBR 90. If you enjoy what you see, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So before we get into the action, I'll show you my crew and equipment that I'm currently using on this tank. My crew on this tank aren't too bad. 3 members onto the 3rd skill, although 2 of them's 99%, and I've got my driver on his 4th skill. The equipment I'm using in the special scouting slot is Commander's Vision System. Then in the special mobility slot I've got vents and coated optics. On field modifications I have maxed this out so I get a permanent bonus of plus 4% to hull traverse speed. I haven't fiddled with any other modifications. So now let's have a look at it in action. Today I'm playing on Highway. It's a standard battle and I've got the 366 matchmaking and I'm top tier today. So what I want to do is head right up towards where the enemy is. See if we can spot the positions they're taking, where they're heading. Right, we'll get on to about these tanks, the full tech tree line, the EBRs. Basically I think it's a highly skilled job and only really good players should be playing them, and I'm not one of them. I struggle in these EBRs. What happens is really good EBR players can make a massive difference, but poor ones, if they just get taken out straight away by pushing in like what I'm doing now, it puts your team at a massive disadvantage. So I do only play them now and again, and since I'm top tier, it's probably why I had half a decent battle in it, basically, because I do struggle in these tanks and I do think it should only be played by people that are really skilled in them. It makes a massive difference. So I pushed up to the map, spotted lots of the enemies, give me team some vision, let them know where they're going. And this is the problem I have while I'm playing EBRs. I've actually pulled back and got out of the trouble so I can reposition. So let's talk about this tank now, and everything about this tank is its mobility. On standard mode, which you have a better turning circle, you have a top speed going forward and reverse of 65 kilometers an hour, but when you put it in the rapid setting by pressing X, you do get a top speed going forward and reverse of 83 kilometers an hour, and that's what makes this tank. But what I find when I play the EBR, I get taken out really easy if I end up in stupid positions. But when I play against EBRs, the amount of shots I fire at EBRs and it doesn't penetrate is beyond me how that happens. So I'm pushing back to where I was, see if I can spot some more. There's a super Hellcat. I've auto aimed, and what happens with the auto aim, you don't have to right click when you're exactly pointing on the tank, just somewhere near, and then the auto aim engages, and then you can just drive along, make sure you don't get in any trouble and fire your gun. So I'm using HE shells at the moment, which are good against lightly armoured tanks, and since I'm top tier, tier 9, playing against tier 7s, they have got less armour, and especially when I'm circling them I should be able to get some penetrating shots in. So I'll tell you about the gun you get on this tank, and it is a 90mm, hence the name EBR 90. With these HE shells I get 75mm of penetration, but they do give us 320 alpha damage. With my crew and equipment I've got a reload time of 7.45 seconds, then I've got an aim time of 1.28 seconds, which is really good, and then a dispersion of 0.35, which is about average. Then when I change back to my standard AP rounds, you do get 185mm of penetration, which doesn't sound the best, but it doesn't really make that much difference because you're not really shooting the fronts of tanks. You are driving around and getting the side and rear a lot of times. So with that penetration, your alpha damage does go down to 240mm, but your shell velocity does get a bit better. So I've just pushed to this ridge line after we took the tank out in the middle of the field. And when I've picked up on this ridge line, there is a lot of tanks up here, so I am getting a lot of assistance, and that is basically key playing the EBR. So I'll tell you about the view range on this tank now, and it's really poor. You do have to really work to get that view range up, but it doesn't matter getting right massive 500 meter view range, because you are going to spot from close quarters. You're not going to sit a bush miles back and hopefully spot. You are going to get involved and get close. So with my crew and equipment, and I do have quartered optics, Ben's commander's vision system is for spotting people through bushes, so I do have all equipment for view range, and then I have got brothers in arms and the situational awareness and recon, and I've only managed to get it to 402 meters, so I'll not be getting it any further unless I start using food on this tank. So the view range isn't anything special. So back to what I said at the beginning of the battle, you do need skilled players in these tanks that know what they're doing in them, because everybody's seen somebody in an EBR trying to camp the bushes and spot that way, and all the other light tanks will outspot them, and it's just a waste of a tank. It's like having a man down. You need to keep mobile all the time in an EBR, and this is how you generate all the assistance. So I'm just peeking over, pushing over this ridge, and I did spot a comet, so I took a shot, and now I'm going to try and get another shot into him. His armour is weak, but I am onto the AP rounds now. I did change over, so I didn't manage to take the comet out. He's pushed into the town, so I'm just going to try play a hull down and help me teammates with some shots, but I did take a shot there. So I'll tell you about the armour on this tank, and it's not great on paper, but somehow, sometimes it just works for some players, but I'm not one of them. So on the front of your hull you get 40mm, on the side of your hull it's 16mm, but on the rear is 40mm, so the same front and rear. And then on the turret you get 40mm on the front, 25 on the side, 20mm on the rear. So it basically is garbage, but it just sometimes works for some people, and I don't know how, because it never seems to work for me. I never hardly ever bounce shots, but I have bounced one shot from a panther. Right, back to the battle. So we've taken the enemy corner out behind their cap, and there's only one tank left, so everybody looks like they're heading towards the town. See if we can get this Skoda T56 out. He is a really good tank. So I'm just flying through, not sure if I'd be able to do anything. I hesitated there, but I'm going to try and flank round the back of him. If he comes out, one of his shots might take us out if he gets a good high roll, and I'm actually behind him and managed to take him out. Let's have a quick look at the stats. Was a class 1 badge. Then I got the scout medal for detecting most enemy tanks and self-propelled guns than anybody else on my team, at least 9. I spotted 10. Then I got the patrol duty awarded to the player who helps the team damage at least 6 enemy vehicles by highlighting them. I helped with 8 vehicles with 3,674 assistance, and I got the Confederate medal for hitting more enemy vehicles than any other player on your team, at least 6. I hit 9 and got 2,150 damage in. Top of the tree for XP with a base XP of 1,234. Third for damage, but not too bad in an EBR. I made 38,000 credits plus 3,702 XP. That's due to an award for the first victory each day, which was at ×2. I'd like to thank you for watching today's battle. I hope you enjoyed it and found the information useful. If you do have an opinion on playing the EBR, please let us know, and please don't forget to like and comment. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. There's a little icon in the bottom left hand corner. Cheers.